Hello everyone and welcome back to our 9-month odyssey around the world, and today we are in one of our top 10 we gotta come back to places, the beautiful Douro Valley near Porto, Portugal.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we are living that full life, going all the way around the world and taking 9 months to do it on the ultimate world cruise.
We sure are. Well, friends, today our ship is actually docked in Leixos, which is near Porto. It's about a 20-minute drive from Porto, so there is a shuttle for a small fee that you can take to get into Porto. But we are going to go to the Douro Valley because we want to try some of this amazing Porto wine.
Right, and so that's something that people may not realize. Port wine is not made in Porto.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually it's grown and produced up in the Douro Valley near Porto, but the town of Porto, and that's where it would then be exported and put together. And you can certainly taste it there in Porto, but it is not actually produced there in Porto. So if you want to see the real thing, you need to get out to the beautiful Douro Valley.
Well, friends, we got off the ship. We've got a private tour today. There's 10 of us that are going to the Douro Valley to see these wineries here. And it's going to be about an hour and a half to our first stop. Now, as we're driving through, one of the things we have to cross is a 6-kilometer tunnel. But this is kind of interesting because we're almost going from just one spectacular view through the tunnel, and then all of a sudden we open up into the breathtaking Douro Valley, and it's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
and
it is.
We got a beautiful photo stop at a bridge here, and it was overlooking the town of Paseo del Rega. It's just gorgeous.
And right on the Douro River, and this is also where river boats go. They go up and down the Douro River. So you may have heard of Rhine River tours and things like that in Europe. There are the similar types tours that go on the Douro River, and they go right past this area. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So see what we're going to do then.
Well, after our photo stop, we had about another 30 minutes to go to get to our first winery, which was called Quinta Santa Julia. And by the way, this happened to be our favorite stop.
It was. The first stop happened to be the favorite stop. So yeah, it was a wonderful winery. And so here our guide from our van handed us off to a specialty guide here at the winery. And she was just absolutely wonderful. She spoke well. She gave us all kinds of detailed information. It wasn't just the standard, we crushed grapes and we fermented them. And, you get that at some wineries or distilleries. She was great. In fact, one of the first places they took us to was the old winemaking area, where they actually still, under special circumstances, crush the grapes by foot. And they put them in these large vat areas, and then they'll go up there, stomp the grapes, they drain through, and they can collect the juice.
Yeah, it has to be the perfect vintage, though. Everything, all the conditions, everything has to be perfect for them to do that. Now, they haven't done it since 2004, but that's not that long ago, really.
Yeah, it's been awfully dry the last couple decades, and so they haven't had the best vintages. So, yeah, they'll use mechanical methods that can extract more juice from the grapes than the traditional foot method. So that's why they don't do it. But then after the seeing that vat area, she took us around to the gardens. Oh my gosh, it was just gorgeous.
Oh, so pretty, so pretty. And one of the things that she showed us in the gardens was this pillar. Now this pillar, there's limited numbers in the Douro Valley region, and it indicates that they can make the Porto wine. It gives them permission to make the Porto wine. And this pillar, people have even tried to steal it to take it to their winery, so they've kind of got it bolted down here. But a little fun fact again. And then following our visit here to see the pillars, we next went to one of our favorite places, the tasting room.
Yeah, absolutely. So we walked from that area through the gardens and into the tasting room, had it beautifully set up, these old wine casks, and just, it's what you would think of in going to a hundreds of year old winery. It was perfect setting for a tasting. And we sat down and we tried their, not just a red and white wine, but we tried their olive oil as well.
It was really good.
It was very good. They had a little bread there to go with it. It was kind of addicting, actually. But this was this is really the only place we were maybe slightly disappointed here, is that we didn't actually get to try the port wine as part of the tasting.
We didn't know. We
Right.
were expecting port wine, but that was not included.
Right.
However,
Yeah, so you can pay a little bit extra up at the counter, and then they will let you do a tasting of their port wines. Now, I guess just a quick little education on port wines. You have two major ways that port wine is bottled and sold. So you have a vintage port wine, and on a vintage port wine, what that is it actually is a vintage. It's dated, so it would be 2024, 2023, and these wines can be extremely valuable. So people here in the Douro Valley and the region of Porto will actually purchase a vintage wine, example, when a baby's born, and they'll set it aside and they'll leave it, and then when it's time for them to go to school or to move away or get married, they'll gift them that wine, and it can be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars depending on the vintage. The other way is a tawny port that has an age statement. So this is not a vintage, it's a blended wine. It'll be blended from different ages. But those are very good, not as expensive, but can also be very good. Well, the one we tried was a tawny port. And we actually did try one of their 2023 vintage, and it was very good. But we tried the tawny, and now this is called their Mistake Port. And it's actually got a little story behind it. The vintner was out and on vacation and out. So the owner of the winery actually came and did the blending and put together the wine because it was due for testing. So everything in port has to go through the Port Wine Authority, and he took it off, filled out all the paperwork, sent it off to testing, and came back and said, okay, that's a 10-year port, because that's what he applied for, a 10-year port. They tasted it, they said, yep, that's a great 10-year port. And the vintner came back and said, well, what did you do? Show me what you blended. Wait, you took it from this barrel and this one? Wait a minute, that's a 20-year port, not a 10, but because he applied for 10, they can legally only sell it as a 10-year port. So you get a great bargain on this, and we bought a bottle of it. In fact, it's right here. This is the San Julia 10-year tawny that is actually a 20-year-old port. And this is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to open this on a special occasion, but we enjoyed this a lot. And it's nice when your winery can come with a story, and this is a great story.
Our friends bought some. They were wishing they'd have bought more than one bottle.
I'm wishing I'd have bought more than one too. We actually drank some on the ship. We've had other friends that have already opened it since coming back, and everyone is enjoying that bottle of port very, very much.
Well, following the tasting room, then they took us to lunch. We were seated at an outdoor table. It was really beautiful. The views were beautiful outside. Lunch, yours was good, and
I had a
was
traditional
average.
beef and pasta ragu.
Yes,
yeah,
and mine was a pasta dish as well. It was more of a vegetarian pasta dish. I thought it sounded really good, but it was average.
But what was the great thing about lunch? Unlimited wine. So the white and red wines that we had just tasted were unlimited, and until they served dessert, we could have as much wine as we want. And I think our whole table took advantage of that. So we enjoyed lunch, and then after that we had to walk back to our bus. But on our way back, if you're ever at the San Julia winery, ask them about the lizard door knocker.
Well, we'll show you a picture here.
Well, we'll show you most of the picture.
You can see for yourself.
So take a look for that. See if you can find it on the property.
Well, we got back on our bus, and this really was a fun tour. They were playing just very popular songs, like YMCA, sing-along songs. And so I think everybody was having a good time.
Especially after the unlimited wine at lunch.
But we're on our way now to our next winery called Croft Winery. Now, Croft Winery, once we got there, again, it was a very beautiful location. The vineyards were gorgeous. We got out of the bus. It's very hot. And what they did at this winery, we were now put in with a very large group of, I'd say 50 or so people.
There's at least one bus full, if not two.
It was. And so we went out into the vineyards, and the man was explaining the different grapes and things. And with it being in with such a large group, it was difficult to hear. And again, like I said, it was just so hot that it maybe detracted a little bit. Plus, we were being told things at this winery that were very similar to what we had already been told at the previous one.
Yeah, we had such an excellent tour at San Julia that it was hard to top that. And so it's kind of like an act going on after a super act, right? You know? It's like you don't want to go on after that. And so we struggled a little bit at Croft. It wasn't as as fun. Now here we did get a port wine tasting, but again, they were trying to juggle the 50, 60 people on one side of the room and then our little 10 group on the other side. We had different tastings. We had more of a upgraded tasting with ours. And it just wasn't as good of experience.
It's
and plus,
chaotic,
it was chaotic. And after having the mistake port at San Julia, their ports just struggled to compare. We'll put it that way. But you know, it was still an okay experience. And the real reason we were at Croft, I think, is why our tour guide picked this. Is it was right on the Douro River, and the next thing we're going to do is we went and just a 2-minute bus ride down to the docks. We were getting on a riverboat.
Well, we got on our river boat for our river cruise, and it was probably an hour and 15 minutes long. We cruised up and down the Douro Valley. Friends, it has probably been one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's just winery after winery after winery, and the views were just absolutely spectacular. And one of the things I said to Mike, I probably said this multiple times on the trip, that we've got to come back and take a river cruise of this entire area because it truly is that beautiful, that's that spectacular.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't wait to come back, and so we, you know, usually we tell you, would we come back at the end of the video? No question. They've got some amazing river cruises here, and that's what we're going to look at coming back and doing.
It was top notch.
It was. I enjoyed it too. Well, after our river cruise, we got back on our bus, but we still had one more stop to go.
Well, we're going to stop at a train station of all places. We're going to stop at the Pinhao train station. And what this station is famous for is this beautiful tile mosaic artwork that's on the outside of the building, all around the building. And it was just stunning to see.
It was certainly worth a stop.
It's a
quick stop, and it's fairly near the Croft Winery, and it's near where we got on and off. So yes, if you're on a tour or just on your own, be sure to look up Pinhao. Stop by and look at the beautiful blue tile.
I thought the tile work was just absolutely gorgeous, but then I'm an art person, so yeah.
Yep, it was quite beautiful. Well, from there we headed back to the ship, about an hour and a half from the Pinhao train station. Got back on with no issues, and just another wonderful day, and certainly one of our top 10, I truly think, destinations for coming back.
I agree.
Well, where are we headed tomorrow?
Well, we're going to Vigo, Spain, and from there we're going to Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed this. Now, Santiago de Compostela is the end of the Camino Santiago, which is the road that pilgrims will take, and they'll walk all through Spain. You can actually walk from Paris all the way down to here. Some people do that, but you're going to learn all about that, and you're going to see this wonderful, beautiful city tomorrow.
All right, friends, have a great day. Take care, and thank you for liking, subscribing, and turning on those notifications. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.